All right, and we're back with the Malzberg panel. I know we're back with C. Edmund Wright and Grace Marie Turner. And guys, protesters today, just outside of San Diego, turned back 3 busloads of illegal immigrants after the town's mayor warned that federal officials were using the town as a safety valve for facilities that are already swamped. So they turned the buses away. And this is in combination with a congressman, Representative Jim Bridenstine, Republican from Oklahoma, who said that he was not allowed to see the camps where the illegal children are being housed. And then you have a report of a government-contracted security force, believe this or not, threatening to arrest doctors and nurses if they divulged any information about the threat of contagious diseases at a refugee camp housing these illegal children at Lakeland Air Force Base in San Antonio. Is the public finally going to fight back? Are they finally going to get sick, as we saw outside of San Diego here, Grace Marie?
Absolutely. In fact, in Virginia, here where I am based, there was a community college, a closed community college that the federal government was going to use to house some of the illegal immigrants. And the town met, and 1,000 people showed up and basically put a quash on it, would not let this happen. So the American people are tuned in and really figuring out what is going on. The lawlessness that is going on, that this administration is allowing, is absolutely outrageous. And the American people are now seeing this in their own communities, and they are not standing for it.
Edmund?
No, absolutely. And, you know, I would tie this to the same thing we saw with the Bureau of Land Management, you know, and the rancher. Citizens stood up against the federal government there. They did that today near San Diego. You know, I think we're just going to see it continue. I mean, when the government's not going to enforce the law, you're going to see, you know, brave governors do it, and you're going to see citizens not even waiting on their governors to do it. So I think this is a very encouraging sign, but at the same time, it really shows we have a federal government and a ruling class that is at war with the very country that they want to govern.
You know, that's so right. And remember that the pictures where we first saw this huge wave of illegal immigrants and the children that are coming to this country was because Breitbart posted some photos, and they also didn't want us to see those photos. And here we have the federal government trying to keep the American people in the dark about what's going on. Outrageous.
Yeah, while they tell us that the kids will be sent back, but everything they're doing indicates, and for the most part saying, other than the statement that they're going to get sent back, saying they'll be sent back if they can be reunited with their parents. How on earth are you going to reunite a kid who came over the border from Central America somewhere originally? How are you going to find his mother and father and send them back? It's just not going to happen.
Well, I bet, Steve, the reason they didn't want Congressman Bridenstine to have access is he would have probably seen that what's going on in there, in addition to the very poor health and disease situation, is the fact that we're sending lawyers down there. We're lawyering these kids up so they can't be sent back. The next step will then be to import their parents, because we can't, you know, keep families separated. So we're just importing liberal voters is what we're doing, which is what the Obama administration wanted to do from day one.
It's just
Yeah,
shocking.
absolutely. Go ahead, Grace Marie, briefly. Go ahead.
I have to say, Steve, you know, every single week we come up with some new crisis, and you think, how can it get any worse than this? How can it get any worse than Benghazi? First Obamacare, and then Benghazi, then the IRS, and now these waves of immigrants. They're just continuing to cover up with more.
I'm afraid to say it, Grace Marie Turner and C. Edmund Wright, I'm afraid to say it, but Obama likes to say, you ain't seen nothing yet. I hope that's not the case here. Thank you both for being on the Malzberg panel. Appreciate it. And we'll be back with more of the show, folks. But first, you're not going to want to miss this hour's American Moment. It takes a look at the fall of Saigon.
When Saigon, the capital of South Vietnam, fell on the 30th of April, 1975, America's long conflict there may have ended, but it took decades for the nation to heal its wounds. In 1973, President Nixon orchestrated the Paris Peace Accords, bringing to an end America's involvement in the Vietnam War. America's POWs returned home, and all seemed well until March of 1975, when Senator Ted Kennedy led Congress in cutting off all aid to South Vietnam. Within weeks, Communist North Vietnam reneged on the peace accords and invaded their neighbors to the south. Without U.S. support, South Vietnam fell to the Communists, and throughout South Vietnam, a bloodbath ensued as hundreds of thousands of South Vietnamese who had backed the U.S. were massacred. Empowered by the events in Vietnam, Communists in Laos and Cambodia soon toppled their pro-Western regimes, and Southeast Asia became a killing field, with the genocide of an additional 2 million people. You're watching An American Moment on Newsmax TV.